All right, the thing you have to know about NASCAR and racing in general, race cars, they go very fast. It's not like a normal car. Can't take my Honda Civic and expect to just make it loop and loop and loop and over again. That wouldn't work. That wouldn't be good for the car. Actually, come to think of it, they might ding me on the lease if that's the case. So, but that's not the reason we're talking about the pants, right? So the pants have nothing to do with that. Two separate things. Steve Weiner from GetRubix.com, and today I'm going to give you a visual demonstration of something my good friend Jesse wrote a blog about on GetRubix.com. Basically an issue where if you have conditional access enabling MFA in front of OneDrive, you may run into issues on the automatic sign-in when using Autopilot. So today I'm going to show you a cool little fix for that problem. But what we have to know is if you did somehow join or sign up for the NASCAR, if you get free pants.
Get Rubix, solving for the modern workplace.
Okay, what I'm going to do is I have a Windows 11 device that I'm going to put through the normal autopilot process, and I want to go ahead and show you the experience here. And we're going to kick this off, and while I'm kicking it off, I'm going to show you a few other things. So in my Intune environment, I have a conditional access policy. I went to the wrong place. Conditional access, policies. So you see I have this OneDrive MFA policy, and what this is doing is this is basically saying, that's not it. It's basically saying for Bob Freeman here, if he is accessing Office and SharePoint Online, which that's going to affect OneDrive among other things, and he is on a Windows device, then I am going to require him to provide multi-factor authentication. Okay, so here I am, and I'll just wait for the little icon there. OneDrive should be on here. It comes with the PC, right? So here's the real question, is what happened to OneDrive? Account disconnected. Because it requires MFA. Well, once I complete the MFA challenge, I'm going to be absolutely fine. Now that MFA has been completed, I'm not going to have a problem with OneDrive, and I'm going to be able to get to all my files, and, you know, it should all start syncing. The problem here is how do I get around that? Because I want MFA for my users when going into Office apps and things like that, but I don't want them to not know what's going on because it'll just sit there, and as you saw, we had to go find it in the File Explorer. And then, of course, once we are MFA'd in to one, we're good for the rest of the services. So Office, no problem. So how do we get around this? We get around this by doing what Jesse tells us to do. So Jesse put this blog up, and he has a great solution here that runs during, we could really run it during autopilot branding. And what it's going to do is it's going to prompt us to sign in, hence triggering the MFA. So we'll have no problem, signing in once we're at the desktop. And this will be a much better user experience. So how do we do this? So I have an autopilot branding solution that we've packaged before, and I'm going to open it up. Okay, and if you don't know about autopilot branding, I'll put a link below where you can see I did a whole video on it. It's a great solution from Michael Niehaus, literally for things like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add just a new section somewhere. I'm going to actually add it here. We're going to call this step 3A. OneDrive MFA prompt. So what is it that I exactly want to do? Well, I want to set a default user registry entry that runs a command script. So the first thing I have to do, just like we've done up above, is we have to load the temp user. Load HKLM temp user, and that is going to be C users default nt user.dat. That's fun to say. Now that we have that, we can add HKLM, temp user, software, Microsoft, Windows, current version, run. The value will be launch OneDrive with user. The type is going to be a reg string entry. And the data is going to be a file. Now, what is this file? C Windows launch OneDrive with current user.cmd. Force out host. So what even is that? Well, we need to make that. So let's go ahead and unload the temp user. Okay. So this is kind of interesting. Within PowerShell, what we can do is we can create the text for a file in real time. So this is going to look, it's going to be a little weird here. We're going to call this script text, and it's going to echo off null. And this is going to be for F. Limbs. And in who am I? This will all make sense later. We set VPN. Determine if business one instance is configured on this machine. Regexe query HKCU software Microsoft OneDrive accounts business 1v user email null 2 null. Now real quick, I want to show you why we're looking for that. So remember, this will be run later. This is text we're assembling for a command file, and when it runs, there will be a current user. So if we go back to look at our machine that's all good to go now, I'm going to open the registry and show you this. If I go to the current user, software, Microsoft, so Microsoft OneDrive accounts business one. So in business one, you're going to see user email to see if it's provisioned or not, right? So if it's here, it means we're provisioned. If not, then we need to prompt for the MFA. And that's how this knows to run. If error level 1 go to not provisioned. So we're going to say since OneDrive is provisioned already, don't run this script anymore. But then what we do is we can delete the thing we're adding. HKCU, software, Microsoft, Windows, current version, run, launch OneDrive with user. So basically we're saying if it's already provisioned, we don't need to run it, get rid of it so it'll never run again. However, and then we go to end of file. This is batch script command stuff, so if you're not familiar with it, don't worry too much about it. You can probably skip this part till I'm done. You know me, I just always like to offer a safe place to type things out that we're learning. There was no business one. So basically this is the not provision section. There is no business one, user email, registry, entry. So launch, OneDrive, first run wizard with the logged in user ID. And then we start OD open, sync, user email equals UPN. And that is our command file. So now that we have that, we're going to make the item. New item, item type, file, path, C Windows. Name is going to be launch OneDrive with current user.cmd force. Add the content. So now that we made the file, we're going to add our text to it. And we're going to say the value is script text. And that's what we wrote above. So we're making a file and we're taking all this and setting it as the contents of the file. Set content, C Windows, launch OneDrive with current user.cmd force. And just to be safe, we're going to do a start sleep seconds 2. Okay, so when you package this up and apply it to your Autopilot branding, now let's see what happens when we run the same thing. So once again, Bob Freeman at RubixDev.com. We did not change the conditional access policy, so we are still going to need MFA if we want to use OneDrive. Let's let this go through here. This is where Autopilot branding should be coming down and setting up that new run command. Okay, so here we are about to enter the desktop. Okay, so everything is pretty much the same. But I know I'm going to need to MFA for OneDrive. So before I go to the File Explorer, I just want to wait to see if I'm now prompted. There we go. And now I can complete the MFA challenge without having to go dig around for it. There are also other solutions to this, like making a device compliant in addition to requiring MFA for certain apps. And the subject of conditional access can get very deep very quickly. But I was really glad when Jesse found the solutions to this, because this I know plagues a lot of folks who want the MFA there and just struggle when they get on a brand new device and are not prompted, right? So check it out. I'm going to put a link to the blog below because that's where the actual code is. And you can either put it in the Autopilot branding like I did, or Jesse tells you how to package it as a separate application. Next week, we're going to get into something I've been waiting for a really long time, and that is something brand new with Autopilot. So definitely come back and check in then. We'll be seeing you.